No topic was off limits as a group of young Victorians grabbed the attention of MPs.
If we want First Nations and CALD students and young women to choose and complete qualifications in in-demand industries, then cultural safety and psychological safety must sit at the centre of the approach.
In a wide-ranging discussion, the youth associates aged 18 to 27 had their say on student pathways to in-demand industries.
You have to have the ability to self-advocate or bring an advocate to essentially barter for your access needs and for what supports you can get offered.
Each individual consulted a diverse number of their peers on a range of relevant topics, including factors influencing student career choices.
A lot of students thought that the goal of the end of high school was VCE, completing year 11 and 12, but I personally didn't even have the option of vet when I was in young year 7 year level. So just framing it differently and making it a larger option and making the school's framework clearer to have alternative pathways and try destigmatise vet in itself.
The quality of school career development and advice was also front of mind.
Many felt that the career counsellors were only helpful when the student knew what they wanted to do specifically, and they only offered different pathways to get into different courses. On the other hand, when students were unsure of what direction to take after school, career counsellors only advised based on standard aptitude testing, and no other information was provided about in-demand industries.
So I feel like raising awareness within the communities through parent-teacher nights and informing them that BC, there isn't just one pathway, being an engineer, lawyer, doctor, there's alternate pathways, and that could definitely be very helpful.
Student awareness and perceptions of vocational education and training, otherwise known as VET, was a recurring theme.
To improve VET, the stigma surrounding it must first be eliminated. The stigma pushes the notion that VET is for students who are disengaged or more likely to consider dropping out of school, when in reality, it may be for those who already have an understanding of the path they wish to go down, and VET just offers them a more hands-on or specific experience.
So making sure that you bring along the parents on that ride and on that journey of education and awareness is one of the fundamental things to make sure that not only within an educational environment we are supporting people to pursue VET and in-demand industries, but we're also supporting parents and carers to actually help their students in their journey throughout the entire process.
Barriers to further study via TAFE, university and apprenticeships were also identified.
Young people regionally have to move if they want to go to TAFE, let alone university. So you've got young people who really want to further their education. They prefer a job in a different sector, but they already have work where they live, and they have to make a really difficult decision between education and further study or work now.
There were powerful statements on the support students need to choose and complete qualifications in in-demand industries.
For many Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and CALD young people I spoke with, cultural safety was the single biggest influencing factor whether they felt they belonged in the industry. One woman described it powerfully. She said, "Some days I feel like I'm two different people. One that knows who she is and where she comes from, and another that has to leave that at the gate to get through the day." That feeling of needing to split yourself in two came up again and again and was described as not just uncomfortable but mentally exhausting.
Sentiments echoed in a call for more support for students with disability.
We need to make sure that students are empowered throughout primary and secondary education to advocate for their needs, understand what they need, not just to reach the bare minimum that everyone else does, but to genuinely be supported in their disability and their style of learning. We need to treat every student, regardless of diagnosis or any other trait that they have, with empathy, flexibility and care, and it will benefit everyone.
Financial insecurity and financial uncertainty is also playing a major role in decisions about further education.
Some participants were unsure whether the career they were training for would provide them with the stable income needed to pay off the debt.
It is truly a massive cost of living struggle for all students, but those who have the privilege of living at home have it a lot easier than those who have had to move out.
And for those in the regions, it is most acutely felt.
Most of the Victorian rural young people that I spoke to identified the importance that transport has on our careers. Being from Southwest Victoria, it is a 4-hour train ride just to get here. And then it is about an hour train ride to get to anything that's not Warrnambool within our circle, so city centre or country, rural. The readiness of young people, they didn't have a readiness for the induction processes and the tax file number, the referees that you have on your resume, the difference that all of that makes for your first job. There just seems to be a lot of gaps. The readiness between leaving school and getting into pre-employment opportunities or study opportunities.
The Legislative Assembly Committee heaped praise on the young people for their contributions.
I just want to acknowledge all the work that you have done and undertaken as youth associates. You have done invaluable work consulting with your peers across the state. Each of you have done a great job summarising your findings in a written report, which is now on our website.
The full broadcast of the Youth Associates Roundtable is available to watch on the features section of Parliament's YouTube channel.